Hello, picture book writers. I'm Pam Calvert, author of many children's picture books and stories, and welcome to another episode of Picture Book University. Today's topic is picture book story arc secrets. Now, whenever I get my manuscripts come into me, if you haven't already watched any of my other episodes, I'm a picture book mentor. I have a critique business, and I see about 150 manuscripts throughout the year. And so I always have to tell my clients and my mentees how to structure their picture books, because usually when they come into me, they really don't understand the process of what a picture book story arc really looks like. And so I didn't even know it before I took picture book classes. So I remember when I first started, it was pretty bad. But I am telling you, if you put your picture book manuscript through this story structure, you will actually get to see a lot of the problems that you have very easily. You'll definitely get your manuscript up to the next level. Okay, the first part of the story arc is the introduction. You always have to have an introduction, and usually you're going to introduce your main character. Now, I'm going to use a few different picture books. I'm going to use a couple of mine, and then I'm going to use another one that I just happen to have laying around the house. So, introduce your main character. That's the number one thing you should do. And you shouldn't do things like, and I've seen this in manuscripts, things like, "Hi, my name is Little Penelope," or something like that. That's not a very interesting intro, and not only that, it's telling, right? So we don't want to do that in our opener. But what we need to do is find out who the character is in just a few short sentences. So I'm going to give you a few examples. Backhoe Joe. This is one of my very favorite picture books right here, and very, very cute. And what it does is it takes this little backhoe, and he's kind of like this. He's kind of like a pet. It's written by Lori Alexander, and the way she introduces it was the main character is the little boy Nolan. And that's how, normally children's picture books start out with a child. They introduce Nolan like this. Nolan was collecting a few rocks when he heard a growl. There in the middle of the street, he saw a stray backhoe. She introduces her two main characters, which is Nolan the child and the puppy, or the stray pet, the backhoe. So the next part is that we need to give our main characters even more problems. So you've set up the major problem, the overarching theme problem. The next part is really giving our main characters problems. So many problems that they are moved to tears. Now, not everybody will have that in their picture books, but the ones that kids really care about, your main characters need to really care about what's going on to them. And they need to suffer so that the kids will want them to succeed. Now, in Backhoe Joe, he has, I counted, around 10 different problems that went on. And there might even be a little bit more, if you want to count nuance problems. But there's a lot of problems with this backhoe because he makes a lot of messes, just like a new puppy would. And mom and dad and neighbors, are not happy here. But this little boy, Nolan, he is moved to tears because something happens, and it's part of the climax. He finds out, and spoiler alert, so if you don't want to know about Backhoe Joe's, fast forward, he's really sad because somebody is looking for Backhoe Joe. And like a lost puppy, they're missing their backhoe, and they want him back. And poor little Nolan, he's sad. A good book has to be sad or moved to tears. There are books that they're not moved to tears sometimes, but you can tell they are at least at the end of their rope. I love this book, How to Behave at a Tea Party, and here she's at the end of her rope with her little brother. He is just messing up her tea party, and it is not good. So she is not really moved to tears, but she is say it, right? Upset. She's not happy. That is what I'm trying to get through to you, is that you have to make your main character so upset, or their heart is squeezing here right before the climax. Okay, so that when the climax happens, they're at the end of their rope at the climax, and it's just the biggest thing where they're about to give up. Brianna Bright, she has just had it, and she's done all she can to become a knight. When the ballet didn't work out, even though she worked her hardest on her ballet, and this spoiler alert here, but she decides that maybe she just can't do that anymore, and she's sad. She's sad right here, and she's thinking about quitting it, but she's still dreaming. She still dreams about her being a dancer or something, a knight. And then the climax hits. So that's the next part, is climax. That's where there's something that happens to get the main character to solve their problem. So at the climax, it's like the ultimate thing that happens that will force your main character to solve the problem. They call it a gear shift. There's something happens in the story that gives your main character that aha moment that will force them or propel them to solve their own problem. And so in this, the thieves break in, and there's some thieves that are breaking in, and she knows that she wants to protect her castle, and she thinks, well, I've got my sword, I'm going to help protect. And so she does what she's been practicing all this time to do. But when she puts both the ballet moves with the fencing moves, she now succeeds. So here she's doing it because she's putting these two things together. So that's her solution. And so right at the climax, that's the thing that makes your character figure it out, that aha moment. It has to be natural. It has to come from within the child. You can't just have a parent hand them this information, or a teacher hand them the information. They have to work it out all through the book. The book is preparing the child to work out that problem. It cannot be easy on them. You cannot let it be easy. In Backhoe Joe, Nolan realizes that Joe really is the lost backhoe. And he knows inside what would happen if someone else lost, if Backhoe Joe was really mine, how would I feel without him? And so he knows what he has to do. And that's the climax. That's the gear shift. He's realizing what he needs to do to solve the problem. And Nolan does it. Mom doesn't do it for him. Nolan sits there in the backyard and thinks about his problem, and he knows what he needs to do. It's natural what a child would do in this situation, and he didn't come to it easily either. It wasn't like he sees the piece of paper and then all of a sudden he decides to give up Backhoe Joe. He has to realize it himself, and he goes through some turmoil and some tears, before he gets to this realization. So make sure you're not letting your characters off too easy. They can't come to their conclusions too swiftly. It needs to be a culmination through all those problems that they experienced, and that's how they come to their solution. All right, so climax is the next part, and we've already discussed that. That's the ultimate thing that happens to make or force your character into solving their problem. And then the next part is solution. They solve it. They solve the problem. We've already gone over the solutions in both of those books. Now, the last part will sell a book. It will just ultimately sell your book. So it is very, very important. You cannot... I've had manuscripts where I adored the manuscripts all the way through until they just left me there with... it just kind of fizzled. An editor doesn't have time for a fizzle. They have way too many cute books, cute manuscripts coming before them. You have to have a twist ending, something that might have a pun in it, or just something that's just truly satisfying at the end. It makes you go, ah. For your first picture book, it's got to be clever. You really need to think of a clever twist or something that brings you back to the beginning. It's called circularity. So let's see how these books do it. So in Backhoe Joe is so, okay, I'm gosh. She has the most clever ending, and it sold the book immediately. In fact, I think, and don't quote me, but I think it went to auction, and I think it, yeah. At the end, so he said goodbye, and spoilers, he said goodbye to his Backhoe Joe, and so he's thinking about getting another pet. Or he's drawing a picture of a cat, so we're thinking of a cat or something. But then he's thinking, maybe something that doesn't dig, but maybe I should get, and it's a cement mixer. Oh, it's so cute, so cute. So that's the twist. I wasn't expecting it when I first was reading through. The illustrator had him drawing pictures of a cat, and so I was thinking, oh, is he gonna get a puppy? Oh, that'd be so cute. That would be a great ending. That's what I was thinking. But you don't want that twist to be anything that anybody can think up. Okay, it has to be a slam dunk, especially for your first picture book. It's got to be a slam dunk. And then in this How to Behave at a Tea Party by Madeline Rosenberg, this is the cutest twist ending. She talks about how to have a tea party, and in the beginning she just didn't want her stinking little brother coming and messing everything up. But at the end, the twist is that the best tea parties are with doing all these funny things that her brother does and getting messy, things she didn't like before. And then her little brother says, you do throw very good tea parties. So it's just cute. And it's something that surprises you. You wouldn't think that her little brother, who's trying to mess up her tea parties the whole time, would say that. But it's really a sweet friendship / sister brother sibling rivalry book. So that's it. Those are the secrets for having a great picture book, having all of those elements. They're not too many elements, right? Of course, not all picture books will have this story structure in them. Journey books will not have this. Journey books are books that follow along a character from, maybe when they're waking up in the morning all the way till they go to sleep at night. And usually those are toddler books. So this story structure wouldn't work for that. But most stories will follow this structure. And you need to do it in 500 words or less. Today, for your assignment, I'd like for you to get 10 new picture books. Go to the library and get 10 new picture books. If your library has got a drive-by thing going, I hope it does. If maybe they have an online portal, I know that some libraries do, and maybe you can go on get those ebooks. Try that, because you need to read a lot of picture books. I read 200 picture books before I ever got published. 200. I had to learn by reading and analyzing picture books, and that's what I want to get you to start doing. And I want you to take this story structure that I went over with you, which is introduction, first conflict, more conflict, right? Then gear shift, where something happens, something major happens to make that aha moment for the character. Climax, it's the explosion that propels that character to make that solution. And then the solution, and then your twist ending, or your circularity ending, or end of the day. Okay, so with that in mind, I want you to do that for every one of those 10 picture books and see what story structure is. And then take that bright, shiny new whip, that one that is your favorite, and I want you to put it through the same analysis. Are you doing that structure, or is it unfocused? You're going to be able to tell real quick if you've got focus, if you're putting it through this story structure. Well, that's it for today, and thank you so much for all the followers that I've been getting and all of the questions. And if you have any question, please comment below and hit that subscribe button. That will help me out. I'm just trying to get this off the ground, and I just need your support. And thank you so much for the support you've already given me. All right, we'll see you on Friday. Bye.